This episode is brought to you by Zencastr. Zencastr is the #1 tool for all podcasters. You can record high-fidelity audio between remote locations and get studio-quality sound. Go to Zencastr.com and use coupon code THATENTERTAINS for 20% off for 3 months or 20% off an annual plan.
This is a That's Entertainment podcast.
Awesome.
Just tell people they're awesome and mean it.
Awesome.
Awesome. Awesome.
Did you have an awesome time? Did you drink awesome shooters and listen to awesome music and then just sit around and soak up each other's awesomeness?
Awesome. 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 That was awesome. You guys are awesome.
No.
You're awesome.
No.
You are awesome.
Sir, you are awesome. Seriously.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Everything is awesome.
Welcome to this week's edition of Everything is Awesome. I am your host, Kev, and this is the show where we sit down and talk to awesome people about awesome things. God, I hope you guys are doing well. Man, thank you so much for tuning in, listening to this show. I'm gonna start the show this way. You guys could be doing anything with your time, and you're gonna spend the next. This is a shorter episode, but you're gonna spend the next, we'll say, half hour or so. Somewhere in that 20 to 45 minute range. You could be doing anything with your time, and you're spending it with me and my guest this week and whatnot. So we're not going to do a mid-roll this week because it's a shorter episode. I'm just going to do the pre-intro because we haven't done intros yet. And by pre-intro, I mean post-intro. We haven't done intros live yet as far as this recording. That's something that's going to be still a couple weeks out or a couple episodes out before that happens. Gosh, I believe like by the time we get to the end of the catch-up run here is when I start doing that again. But this is a very special episode. I sit down and chat with my son, Trey. And for those of you that have been listening to the show forever, you know that, I want to say a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, I found the audio of one of our first times sitting down to record, which was when he was 3 years old, which was about 4 years ago. He was 3 or 4, so 3 to 4 years ago. It was like when I was in pre-production for Everything is Awesome, and I was setting up our Shedio and whatnot. And he would come out there and help me, and he didn't want to hop on microphones and stuff. And like, it was so fun and so adorable to sit down and chat with him. And we actually sat down and recorded. He was off from school a couple of days, or he had a 2-hour delay or something. Something happened where him and I were home together when my fiance Jen was at school, and my daughter, his sister Aubrey, was also at her daycare. So we had a couple. We had time maybe by ourselves for a little bit, and I think we played some games, and we hung out for a little bit, and then we sat down and recorded. And I really just wanted to sit down because we recorded a couple days before his 7th birthday, and it had been I talk to the kid all the time, obviously, but like, much like an adult, much like you, much like anyone who picks up a microphone, something happens where you become kind of a different person. I try to be my truest form these days in 2019 when I'm on a microphone, but you're still like, you're an entertainer to a degree. So like, your voice is a little bit different. You are a little bit louder. You're a little bit more charismatic. Charisma. You have more charisma, guys. I don't know. Blame the Pennsbury school system on why I can't say that word correctly. But something happens, just like it happens with us. It happens with kids. And it was interesting because at 3 or 4, he kind of got shy, even though it was just him and I, and I guess that maybe there was a little bit of shyness this time too, but definitely we held a conversation together, and it wasn't he wasn't easily distracted talking about whatever came in his mind. He was able to hold the conversation that we were trying to have, that I was trying to have with him and whatnot. So I love this one. I love this one. I'm hoping to do more of this with him. And with my daughter, I want to, if she's into it, at least. I'm not going to, if they don't want to pick up a microphone, they don't want to pick up a microphone. But I really am into the idea of sitting down and recording with the kids. And to a greater extent, it's a project that, I doubt we'll ever see, public airwaves. But it's a project that I want to do with my family and with and with everyone, and I want to and family, friends, and stuff, and sit down and just like have hour-long conversations on microphone, and like let's get our story recorded so that like when I'm an old man, I can sit back and listen to it and like just listen to my kid's voice when he was 7, or obviously when I'm an old man, my parents aren't going to be around anymore, but so I can listen to my parents' voice. That kind of stuff is super important to me now. And in my mid 30s, like I'll be 35. I'm officially going to be in the middle of my 30s this summer. And that kind of stuff seems super important to me in a world where I lost my uncle when he was 40. Oh gosh, when he was 47 going on 48 years old. And with my dad being, as of now, knock on wood, thankfully, living through stage 4 cancer, living with literally a death in your body, so that kind of stuff has opened my eyes up to the fact that wow, 10 years ago, I thought the world was never going to end, and I thought everything was going to be the same, and in 10 years, like everything is different. Everything is different. And some of it for very good things, like I'm, definitely way more mature and definitely, I'm a dad and I have, a fiance who I love, and we're, in the process of planning our wedding, and I have 2 kids that are my world and whatnot. And that stuff's great. I'm really happy where I'm at creatively doing this podcast and the network and writing. I just started like planning my novel again. I'm designing a game. So creatively, like, man, I'm like, I feel like I'm firing on all cylinders and whatnot. But then like the flip side of that is like things are different in bad ways. Like my uncle is no longer around. That wasn't a thing. 10 years ago, my uncle was here. And 10 years ago, like even 10 years ago, we didn't see each other all the time. We saw each other more often than we did 3-4 years ago. But, it makes you realize that you shouldn't take things for granted, for sure, especially when it comes to family and friends and stuff like that. Like, just think back to your life 10 years ago. And realize how different it is, and for the good and bad, and it's it gets into tricky situations of like, man, like all this stuff is good and it's great, but would I trade it for to relieve myself of the bad? And that's a tough question for anyone to answer and whatnot. And it's while things are better than they were 10 years ago, they are in certain aspects shittier than they were 10 years ago, personally, and for everybody, at least here in the States, politically and stuff. It's there's give and take, and but that's why we shouldn't take things for granted. Whatever you have going on right now, if you can find and like you're not talking to your parents, or you're not talking to a sibling, or you're not talking to someone who you was or is or whatever, your best friend, take a moment and just think about, like, okay, 10 years ago, wow, like 10 years ago this thing wasn't in my life, and now it is, and wow, that makes me happy. But also 10 years ago this thing was in my life and now it's not, and it makes me really sad. And think about 10 years from now, where like maybe that best friend of yours or that family member of yours or whatever it is, it doesn't have to be a person, it can be a thing, it can be a moment, it can be whatever. 10 years from now it might not be around anymore. So obviously everyone's situation is different, but if you can figure out a way to like figure that baggage out and put things aside, and make amends and figure out how to, whatever to keep that thing in your life as long as possible, actively keep it in your life, and whatnot. Please do it, because there's going to be a time where you look back and say, man, 10 years ago I had the chance and I missed out on it. Anyway, I don't know how we got there. I don't know how we got from the hokey radio voice that I do to guys just like, man, don't take life for granted. I don't know where that came from. I have no idea how we got from point A to point B. But hey, we're here, we're there. And we're gone. We're leaving. We're pulling out of the station, guys. No mid-roll this week. So patreon.com/thatnerdykev, thatentertains.com/network, awesomepodcast.com, nerdykev.com, kofi.com/thatnerdykev, 5 stars, rating, and reviews, all that fun stuff. Let's kick it over to my conversation with my son, which was just, for me, this is great. Hopefully you guys enjoy it too. I don't know. I'm not going to do an intro. I don't know, because is this going to be an episode of Everything is Awesome or an episode of Convos with Kiddos?
This is gonna be.
You got to talk in front of the microphone, dude.
This is gonna be an episode of Everything is Awesome.
Oh, well then in that case, I think for the new, well, you know what? This is technically part of, even though we're recording in 2019, this is technically before the anniversary. So there's no intro. Hi. So why don't you introduce yourself, buddy?
My name is Trey.
Yes, that's couple, probably like a year ago, I posted an episode of Everything is Awesome that you and I recorded like 3 or 4 years ago. You were 3 years old. So, and I posted it to Everything is Awesome so everyone could hear it. And it was cool because it was like when you first got into, hey, Daddy has microphones and Daddy has all these things that we can record podcasts with. And it was when you first like got introduced to the idea of a podcast.
Yep.
So, and now I figured originally we were going to record this on or around your birthday. Because how old are you now?
7 years old.
7 years old. You were born now over 7 years ago. Crazy.
Yep.
I'm 34 now. So I was 27 years old when you were born.
Oh, wow.
I was in my 20s.
Wow, you are old.
I'm 34 now. That's even older.
Mommy's older than you. She
She's-
can run for president.
That's right. That's right. She's 35 now, but we don't talk about a lady's age. So, but yeah, I just want to, because you have like, you're a person now.
Yep.
Do you think that's weird?
No.
You don't think that's weird that like you're kind of like a person now?
Nope.
Like, do you remember like the first time or like, the first couple times we recorded?
Yep.
Where did we record at?
The shed.
The Shedio?
Yes.
We maybe that should be do you think we should really make that our summer project this year?
Yeah, I want to make it. Remember where we're going to make that table?
Well, first we have to put walls up. We have to put sheetrock up, and we have to paint it and stuff.
Yeah.
And we have to make it so that we can sit down in there and like maybe make it warm. I'm not sure how. Well, I guess in the summer it doesn't need to be warm.
First, you have to take down the baby bird's
Oh my God.
nest.
Yeah, I got to do that before the birds move back in because they keep moving in. But what do you remember about recording back then?
Talking.
Talking. Okay, stop moving around, buddy, because you're gonna pull the cord. I don't think I gave you a long one. Yeah, but it was like, and what did you do when you were 3? Like, were you able to read? But
Nope.
you can read now, right?
Yes.
You can read pretty good. What
Yep.
level? What level? As far as manner is concerned, what level are you on?
2 blue.
2 blue. I don't know what that means, like in real life, but
That means that I'm a good reader because it has harder words than most of them.
talking to the mic.
Because it has harder words than most of them, but those harder ones like too red and all that.
Yeah. But I mean, like in terms of like books outside of Manor and Pensbury, and I guess school, because I think mommy's system is the same.
Yep,
But
she is black.
yeah. But because we go to the library a lot, remember, it's weird because like for Daddy, libraries have been around forever, like since before probably when when Grandmom and my mom and Pop-Up and other Pop-Up were kids. Like they've been around forever, but I just rediscovered libraries. What are you doing?
My eyes are like hard.
Talk to the microphone. Because I feel like I'm going to be saying that every 20 seconds. So when you see me point to the microphone, that means move it back in front of your face, okay?
Okay.
All right. But yeah, we've been getting lots of books from the library. Those books seem a little harder though, right? The level 2 books from the library?
No.
They don't seem harder than your 2 Blue? No. They seem about the same?
Yeah.
I feel like they're a little harder because I feel like you ask more questions about it. Maybe they're just longer. Maybe that's the issue and you lose your attention span with them.
Yeah.
Right. What is today right now? Not like the date, but why is it daylight and we're recording and there's no little sister around to
I have a 2-hour delay.
Yeah, it's a 2-hour delay here in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, for Trey's school. So I am working remotely through email and whatnot, and luckily I think a lot of people are probably working remotely right now because I think everybody has 2 hours. Actually, some people told me that it's still snowing really hard where in other parts of Pennsylvania, so like they haven't even they're not coming to work today. So they took the day off. So I guess it's snowing hard everywhere else. So since the last time, there's a couple episodes that we recorded that I didn't post, but the last time we recorded, like I don't think we recorded ever when you were in preschool, the little school, or even in kindergarten. Like we haven't recorded in a long time, right? So
We recorded. I remember when I was little, and then when I was 3, and you and Mike were doing a video, and I stayed up late, and then I went out into the shed and said hi, then Mike and you said hi when you were doing a video.
Yeah, oh, careful, don't turn that because I can hear that in the microphone.
Oh.
Or in the headphones, rather. Yes. Do you remember when Mr. Garrett came over? My daddy's friend Garrett came over. Garrett, he used to, when we lived in the apartment, you were a baby. You were younger than Wyatt. And he would come over to watch The Walking Dead. And you would like sit in the, that's when all you would do is like sit in the bouncer. Maybe you would crawl around a little bit. You didn't do much because you were like, you were under 1 year old. But Mr. Garrett, he came over and he saw you like every week for for months. And he's a big fan of yours. And you don't remember him coming over? He kind of looks like Daddy, where he has a big beard, but he has hair like Uncle Mike and black hair and black beard. You don't remember him? He's gonna come over and podcast soon again. But
You're bald.
yes, I am bald. Thanks. Yeah, you remember you came out to the shed when Garrett and I were talking, and like you were just super shy on the microphone. You wouldn't talk to it because Garrett was there. You were at that point probably 3 or 4.
I do not remember that.
Well, it happened. I assure you. But
How do you know? You forget when you got coffee that tasted like cotton candy.
yeah, because I
That was 3 years ago.
I've washed away. That's pre-Weight Watchers, Trey. I don't drink sugar drink. I drink bold, bitter black coffee, Trey.
It's gross.
It's delicious. This is 100% Kenya coffee from Wawa. It's delicious.
It's bad.
It's good. It's healthier than what I used to drink.
I like the other one.
Yeah, because it tastes like sugar. Because it was sugar. That's all it was. That's why you liked it.
Yup.
So let's catch people up on Trey the person, man.
Not a person.
You're not a person. What are you?
I'm a ghost.
You're a ghost. Let's catch people up on Trey the ghost. How long have you been a ghost? How long have you been afflicted with ghostism?
7 years.
7 years. You were born a ghost? Can you walk through the wall?
Yes.
That's weird. How was kindergarten? That was last year. Who was your kindergarten teacher?
Miss Camp.
How was kindergarten? What did you think about kindergarten?
I thought that it was fun.
It was fun. Was it scary a little bit too?
No.
Dude, first day.
I'm a ghost.
First day of kindergarten.
First day of kindergarten, I walked through the wall.
No, first day of kindergarten, you cried a little bit, right?
No.
Yeah, you did. But that's okay. You know why?
I cried till the afternoon.
No, you didn't cry that long. You were. I don't think so. I think Miss Camp sent us a message saying you were fine. Somebody, I think, said, "Oh, you were fine." But a lot of kids are like that. A lot of kindergarten. You know who's going to be like that?
Jordan.
No, Jordan's older than you.
Aubrey.
Aubrey's gonna be like that. I think not. Maybe not because she's gonna walk in with you, so maybe she'll be fine. I don't know.
But she's going to have to find a line.
What do you mean find a line in the gym? Right, but she'll stand with you outside. Right, you're gonna look out for your little sister at school.
Maybe.
Yeah, you are.
Maybe.
What was your favorite part of kindergarten?
Seeing Jordan in the hall.
Yeah, but that's something you do in first grade. What's something very specific to kindergarten that was like something you really enjoyed and like was a first experience for you? Was it going to school? Was it
Doing homework.
doing homework? Look at you. You're mom's kid. You like homework? Do you? That's true because you know what? What was it where you wanted to do homework on a daily basis recently? What holiday was it that you had off for a couple days? I guess it was Christmas, around Christmas. It was, which seems like a long time ago. But I can't think of another day that we had off, like that you and Mommy and me and Aubrey had off together. I think, but yeah, you were like wanted to do homework the last stint that we had off. You remember a couple weeks ago? Yeah. So doing homework, but what is in kindergarten? Was there anything was reading or math or gym or art or music?
Yeah, I know.
What?
Gym and something else, but I forget what it's called. Camp had
Who?
Miss Camp.
Oh, Miss Camp.
I almost said Miss Bench. And she had a dog and a snail, and we would look at a picture and we would say how they were feeling, and then we would act it out with the dog. Miss Camp would act it out saying dog would cry, and then snail would cry, and then dog helped snail, but it was mostly snail helping dog.
What was that, like an exercise? What was that? Was that like, what subject was that? Reading or?
No, that was doing feelings.
Oh, okay.
Doing feelings.
Oh, that's probably so. Do you do that kind of stuff in first grade too, or is that just like a kindergarten? That seems like a kindergarten thing,
That's
right?
just kindergarten.
Right, that makes sense. Because kindergarten, you're going through a lot, right? Because you're 5, right? You're kind of a person who's learning to read, learning math, and it's the first time. I mean, I guess
We didn't do math in kindergarten.
yeah, you did.
No.
Yeah, very simple math. You did.
My math was this. Doing work.
All right. What about field day? How do you feel about field day in kindergarten?
I felt excited.
Right. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we did it all day.
I think no, didn't you only do half the day? Doesn't kindergarten, first grade and second grade only do half a day of field day? And then you go in for lunch and you don't go back out?
Oh yeah, because
you're a small child. You're not big like the 4th and 5th graders.
yeah, they go back out after lunch.
Right.
And they do tug of war, and then whoever falls in the mud loses.
Well, there's no mud.
Yes, there is.
No, there's not. I watched it.
There is mud.
They should do, but I don't know why they don't. I feel like that's something that when I was a kid, there wasn't mud either. But I feel like it's something that was probably a thing when maybe when Mom and Pop Up and Grandma and
Yeah, because it's on Bunked, and that show was made long ago.
No, that show is younger than you.
No,
but that's a camp.
That show was younger than Mama and Papa.
No, Bunked is from when you were a kid. Camp Anawana is from when I was a kid.
Camp Anawana? What is that?
It's a show, kind of like Bunked.
Then why do I never watch it?
Because we can't find it anywhere. It's an old show that was on Nickelodeon when Mommy and Daddy were kids.
Camp Guanawana?
Camp Anawana.
Camp Anawana?
Or you know what? That's not the show.
Confusing.
The name of the show is Salute Your Shorts. And the intro had them raising underwear, someone's underwear up to as a flagpole thing, as a flag that you would pledge your allegiance to. That's silly, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about first grade. How's first? You're what? You just celebrated 100 days of first grade of this year.
I made a headband.
Yeah. So that means you're more than halfway done the school year. What do you think of first grade compared to kindergarten?
It is.
Is it more fun? Is it just a different kind of fun?
It has. When we do spring math, when we do math, it's harder.
Right. Well, because now you're doing, like, you were just introduced to concepts when you were in kindergarten. Now you're doing real work. You're doing the work that's going to make you learn until you're in high school and going to college. This is everything you're learning now is going to help you out later in life.
The one thing in math is easier. The alligator mouth has to go. The alligator mouth has to go, and that is it is like
I don't know.
There's like an open triangle, but no, that is sideways, but no bottom, and then Miss Bench calls it an alligator mouth because it looks like an alligator opening up its mouth, or if it's the same number, we put equal.
Oh.
Number we put alligator mouth.
Right. Yeah. So you're talking about comparing numbers like greater than, less than, or equal.
And now we moved up a square and math boxes. So now we do that. So we and then we have to draw it out 10, 20, 30, 40.
Gotcha.
Until it goes 10, 20, 30. And now we have to do 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, and then write the other thing.
So kindergarten, your favorite thing was feelings, right? That's what you said?
Because we got to sit down, and sometimes we did games with the and sometimes we did games with the feelings. We got to sit down, and the puppet show was funny.
So in first grade, what's your favorite thing? I feel like, can I guess?
Yes.
I feel like it's gym. You talk a lot about gym.
No.
You know? You get really, but it's gym's one of your favorites, right?
Yes.
Because you get really excited about gym.
Yes.
What's your favorite thing to do in first grade?
Math.
Really? Yeah. Is math easy for you? Like, do you find it, is it challenging? Like, do you have to think really, really hard?
Yeah.
Yeah? But like, not like where like you get frustrated, right?
No.
No. Just like thinking because you're trying to figure it out because it's new to you, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That sounds like that's Daddy. Daddy was like that in school too. I was, math was one of my, like, I got math pretty easily, and I didn't have to, like, I thought, but not like, I didn't get frustrated the way I got frustrated with, like, I guess, I don't know what the equivalent is in elementary school, but when you get older, you'll take English classes, and that's where you learn how to, like, write, and like, you'll learn more advanced writing skills and stuff. And Daddy always
Do you have to speak English?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, sometimes you have to give like a report, like a presentation, but I mean that's not until you're like in middle school.
Speak English.
Right. Yeah. But so when you take English, like for you, I think you call it reading and then writing. Like that's your English courses. When you get older and you get into higher grade, like when you get to 6th grade, you'll take like English 1 or something like that. And that's what that really is. That's more so like learning advanced techniques for writing and stuff. So because writing is very important, because when you get a job like Daddy, like not only do I have to write reports, I have to write like so that it pulls numbers. I have to write reports so that someone else who doesn't know code can read it and say, oh, that's what this means. I have to write it in a well written manner. I have to write emails that are professional, and I have to write sometimes I have to write instructions or manuals or stuff like that. So writing becomes super important for when you're an adult working. Or, you know, where else becomes really important, like, you know how Uncle Mike wrote a book, right? Mm-hmm. That like he wouldn't be able to do that if he stopped taking English after elementary school. Like, you need to keep taking those courses and learn how to do it like through college. Like, he took courses in college to learn how to become a better writer.
Hey, Dad.
Yes.
Did you find out who dropped the computers off yet?
We don't talk about that on this, okay? So So math is your favorite first grade subject, with gym being a close second. I feel, right.
No, gym first, then math.
Okay, that's what I thought. And even though your birthday was in January, we're having your party in March. How excited are you for? Is it going to be just kickball and swimming, or are you going to do kickball and basketball?
Kickball and swimming.
You're just going to do kickball for the whole time? Are you going to have basketball as an option in case some kids want to play basketball instead?
Yeah.
Cool. So man, you're 7 years old. You can practically read by yourself. You need very little help with the level of books that you're reading. And
Kickball's gonna be family versus friends.
Kickball's gonna be family versus friends at your party. Yeah.
And we're gonna win because we have Wyatt on our team and we have Uncle Jim on our team.
Right.
He's gonna hit him in the head.
Yeah. But be careful because he might also hit his own teammates in the head. I don't think Uncle Jim's.
Careful.
Yeah, I don't think he's real careful. So yeah, you've grown a lot.
Guess what Uncle Jim said last night? I have a laser foot.
He did say that. So how does it feel to be one of the older kids in your group of cousins and stuff?
It feels like being a ghost.
Like the only one, Jordan's older than you, but you two are kind of still on the same level of what you guys enjoy doing. You both can hang out. Liam is the old head. He's grumpy old man, Liam.
Nuh-uh. That's Uncle Nate.
That's Uncle Nate.
No.
Uncle Nigel.
No, that is not Uncle Nate. He's funny because he is moneymaker.
But I remember when you were younger and you were more like Alex and Aubrey, and Liam was you, and it's weird because I've seen Liam grow up from 5 years old, from how old Aubrey is. That's when I met Liam. And I've seen him grow to the age he is now. And you are in that neat span of oh my God, I remember when you were crawling. No,
you don't.
Yeah, I do.
You remember when I was scooched.
I do remember when I was scooched. She was a scooter. She was not a crawler. It's got
scooch butt.
Scooch butt. No, scoot bug. I don't know. It's just it's cool to see you become a person. It's a little for mommy.
I'm telling you, I am a ghost.
For mommy and daddy, it's a little sad seeing you get so big so quick because we miss you being little and but you're almost not. You're almost as tall as mommy. You're pretty
I'm almost my grandma's neck.
Yeah, you're almost as tall as grandma.
I'm the same shoulder.
Right. It is, but it's neat seeing you become a person or a ghost person or whatever you want to be, and it's neat seeing you succeed as as a person. It's I'm proud of you, dude.
Ghost person.
You succeed as a ghost person. I'm proud of you, ghost person. So before we wrap up here, couple last minute questions. What do you want to? I know it may change year to year, but right now in this moment, what do you want to be when you're an adult? When you're daddy's age, what do you want to be doing for work?
I want to be doing working on computers.
Yeah. Is that for real? Because you've said you wanted to be a police officer before.
No.
You don't want to be a police officer anymore?
No.
You want to work on computers?
Yeah.
What about teaching, like mommy? No. Work on computers like daddy?
Yeah.
What about something? Is there anything else?
Because teaching makes me scream.
Teaching makes you scream. Computers ain't much better, bud. Is there is there anything else you would want to do? You doesn't have to be what daddy does or what mommy does. Is there something that you do now?
Gymnast.
Gymnast? Okay. That's okay. That's fun. Gymnast, doing flips and weird bends and stuff,
yeah.
Or gymnast sports.
Sports.
You want to do sports. So what sport would you want to play as an adult?
Kickball.
I don't know how many professional kickball leagues there are. Maybe there is. I don't know. We'll have to look into it. But
baseball, actually.
Baseball. Well, then are you playing this year? You got to play this year if you want, and then we got to register you soon. Are you going to get your room cleaned up so we can set up your own little personal podcasting station?
Yeah, I want to play baseball, and I want want to play football so I can get a touchdown.
Flag football.
I'm going to get a touchdown.
What about your room? You're gonna get that cleaned up so we can set up a podcast station in there.
Yep.
And you're gonna podcast. Are we gonna do convos with kiddos?
Yep.
Are you gonna do your own podcast as a 7-year-old?
Yep.
7-year-old podcasting mogul.
Yep.
All right. How would you end your show if you were hosting your own show? How would you end it?
Everything is awesome.
On that note, thanks for sitting down with me for like 25 minutes and chatting, bud.
You're welcome.
I love you.
I love you.
And I'm proud of you, bud.
I'm proud of you.
That's weird.
I'm proud of you for working on computers.
All right, that was my conversation with my little boy, my 7-year-old. Now he's almost, he's just like almost 7.5 years old already. I mean, not that, it hasn't been 6 months. It's only been, since we recorded that, January to February to March, so like 2.5 months. So I guess he's not almost 7.5. But anyway, that was fun. That was fun for me. A lot of fun for me. I hope it was fun for you guys. I hope it gives you a glimpse into, something a little bit more personal on my side and whatnot. And hell, if you guys liked it, please let me know. We'll do more of it. I'm super interested in, like, once I'm caught up and starting these and on these other projects are kind of on like cruise control. I'm super interested in like exploring the idea of content for kids when it comes to like podcasts and stuff, because my son got an MP3 player for his birthday, and he wanted to he wanted music on it and stuff like that. So so I loaded music onto it, and I introduced him to the idea of Autonomic Pod, which is a actual play podcast from Cat Cool, which is like kid friendly and whatnot. So I want to see more content like that, and I'm curious in what boundaries we can go in that way. Like, does it have to be strictly like adults making the content for kids, or can we start incorporating kids in that content? And how does that? I know, like, because podcasting is such this weird, like, it's not a job. I mean, it's a job. Don't get me wrong, it's work, but like, you don't get paid. So like, it's weird and wishy-washy stuff with, like, especially in the States with like child labor laws and whatnot. And I would assume that like a podcast you can avoid. I don't know. It's a super interesting area that I'm like in 2019, like, because I have other goals for 2019, that in 2020 I kind of want to explore the idea of creating content for kids, and maybe even creating content not just for kids but with kids and my own kids. Like, I don't it's going to be wishy-washy if you start involving other kids and whatnot. But anyway, this is going on too long. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for spending your time with me. If you can support us monetarily, patreon.com/thatnerdykev is the best way to make sure we are compensated for our hosting fees, our support fees, our advertising fees, and more importantly, I would like to do more traveling. I would like to do more con appearances. I would like to do bigger and cooler things. And Patreon helps cover all those costs. So please go to patreon.com/thatnerdykev. If you can't support us monetarily, a 5-star rating review on iTunes and word-of-mouth recommendations as always. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll catch you on the next one right here on awesomepodcast.com and thatentertains.com/network. We like to end Everything is Awesome with a call to action. Super friends, there are a lot of terrible things happening right now. It can feel like you can't do anything to help, but you can. It takes people like us to make a difference. One of the easiest and most effective ways to action is to call your representatives about issues that are important to you. When I call my reps, I use a site called 5calls.org. That's the number 5calls.org. There, you'll find issue summaries for issues that are important to you, contact information for your representatives, and a script to read while you're on the phone to make sure your message gets across. Calling is quick, easy, and is one of the most effective ways to have your voice heard. Thank you to all of our supporters on patreon.com/thatentertains. Without their support, we wouldn't be able to bring this episode to you. If you want to support us in a non-monetary way, word-of-mouth recommendations and 5-star rating reviews on iTunes are the best way to spread the good word of awesome. You can find us on Facebook.com and Twitter @RealAwesomePod or @AwesomePodcast on Instagram. And we're available on awesomepodcast.com and thatentertains.com/network. Get news about Everything is Awesome from our website, social media accounts and also on my personal Twitter at ThatNerdyKev. If you're interested in ad rates, live appearances, help with your podcast, or have a question or comment, email us at awesome@crudeHumorstudios.com. Everything is Awesome is a production of That's Entertainment Podcast Network in association with Crude Humor Studios. Crude Humor Studios is a Philadelphia-based production company specializing in audio, video, and live performances. You can find more info at crudehumorstudios.com. Thanks for listening, Super Friends. We've been awesome.
That's Entertainment Podcast Network. Entertainment and culture. Artist-owned, fan-supported.